This is Jonah Dempsey, and I'm in Ibiza, and I'm going to start a series on human needs, the personality, and essentially understanding the role of the personality through the lens of human design. So part of this series, this first video will be called Human Needs and the Personality. That's a talk I actually gave this year at HDHD 2024. I'm not going to give the whole talk. I'm just going to give a brief overview, but I want to do a whole series. I'll think of the right name for the series. Essentially, the subject of the series is talking about the role of the personality as the passenger that continually reincarnates, the sort of eternal soul. And in each life, there's a particular purpose of that life, which is for the evolution of the personality. So really for the learning of the personality. Ra liked to joke about people don't change. Well, people don't change, but they do learn. And people love to quote no choice, but Ra also said no choice doesn't mean no chance. We have a chance to learn. And what is learning, what is being educated is the passenger, the personality, right? So what's being educated is the personality. I do not mean the personality activations. The personality activations are sort of what the personality itself plugs into and has access to. What do I mean by this? I may have had many lifetimes without gate 12. I may have had many lifetimes without gate 64, many lifetimes with, you know, certain gates and not others. And now I have gate 12, I finally get to articulate. My personality is like, this is wonderful. I finally have a vehicle that can articulate. My personality is like, I finally have the 64, this access to imagistic inspiration, this ability to see the sequence of images. So it's like what the personality gets to experience. Those are the activations. By the way, not just the personality activations. The personality gets to experience the design activations too. The difference is that the personality sort of gets to experience the personality activations as part of its apparatus, and the design activations, here's how I say about the design. Um, I get to experience it the same time you do. Ra had a completely unconscious head ajna system. And what does that do? His completely unconscious mind. It meant that he got to discover what he was going to say at the same moment you did. He got to find out what he was going to say at the exact same moment you find out what he's going to say. That's what the unconscious means. But the personality still gets to experience this. I have an unconscious gate 12, 12.3 design North Node, 12.6 design Mars. I get to experience what comes out of that 12 the same time you get to experience what comes out of that 12. So the topic of this next series is going to be personality and really personality and the life. The personality is not the life. The personality has many lives like beads in a necklace. This is one bead. There are more beads. There were beads before. There will be beads after. And so the personality is sort of this eternal soul that continues on its level, going up levels of initiation, learning, upgrading, evolving, growing. It's like all of humanity is on this path, a path of ever greater conscious participation with its own evolution. And so what I'm trying to say here is that in human design, we're really spending most of our energy talking about this life as it should be. Most people don't need to know about their past lives. Most people don't need to get caught up in the spiritual trappings of what is beyond this life because that doesn't help them fulfill their life's purpose. It doesn't help them fulfill the role they have to play in the totality for this life. Because everything from profile to incarnation cross to your personality, sun, earth, color, these all have to do with the role that you play in this life. And yet the personality itself has many lives. The personality itself reincarnates. The personality itself wears many costumes of purpose. It's almost as if, I was disincarnate and Thoth came and said, Jonah, I've made this incredible costume for you. And I said, no. And, Lakshmi came and said, I've given you trappings of gold and luxurious green velvet and all these things. And I've said, no, I'm not interested in all your green and purple and gold velvet, Lakshmi, you know. And the keepers of the wheel went, Jonah, I have created you this amazing costume of purpose where you will work for us and you will help us keep the wheel turning. And I said, no, keepers, I have no interest in that. And then I happen to have been born under the Godhead of Jesus. So Jesus comes and says, Jonah, I've made you this wonderful costume on the cross of healing. And I say, it will do. It will do, And I join um, the throng of living humans. I come into the carne, into the flesh, because I have found a purpose that will help my soul, my personality, evolve and develop. And so this series of talks that I'm going to do, it's going to be short videos each. I'll wrap this one up. I'm trying to do more of the short form content. I have plenty of 1 and 2 hour videos out there. Especially here while I'm traveling, I'm going to be doing this sort of short form content where I'll be going over different topics. And so the first topic I want to cover is human needs and the personality. This will just sort of be an intro. The next video, I'll actually go into it. What are the human needs? How do we approach the human needs? What is the personality's relationship to the human needs? How does this relate to human design? I mean, it's a big question, right? I mean, what is the interface between human design to me is fundamentally 3 things. Human design shows you your mechanics, it shows you your potential for awareness, and it shows you purpose. Mechanics, awareness, purpose. These are the 3 pillars of human design. Someone last night said, give me a 1-sentence description of human design. So my Airbnb host. I had the most Ibiza experience last night. She said, okay, you can't check in now because I have to go to work. And I said, okay, well, it's evening. I guess you work nights. And she said, yes, but you can come meet me at work and I'll tell you. And so I came to meet her and she said, meet me at 2 a.m. at Limbo. I love that I was going to Limbo. I'm like, okay, I'm going to Limbo. I ended up walking all over Ibiza Castle. I met her at 2 a.m. We didn't get back to the B&B until 4:30 a.m. I mean, good thing I'm a generator. It was rough even for me. And but she said, I've heard. She said, what are you in town for? I said, I'm doing a retreat, an event, for a fundraiser for a documentary. What's the documentary about? Human design. I've heard of human design. Someone booked a room last week. It turns out it was somebody else from the retreat. And they said they were in town for human design. And so she wanted me to tell her all about it. She said, give me a 1-sentence description. Now I said, it's a system of self-knowledge for better decision making. I mean, there's different ways to explain it, right? I'm a 5-1. I don't give the same answer to everybody. I give a different answer. I give the answer that I think that will work best for the person. And that was the answer I gave her. But if I were really to describe what human design is, it's a system for understanding. Oh my God, we have twins here. It's a system for describing mechanics, awareness, and purpose. You have the mechanics, you have the channels, you have the gates, the hanging gates. I would even consider mechanics all the way to the line level, what lines you're given. You have awareness potential beneath the line. And thank you for Alokanand Diaz for sort of coming up with this. He was talking about, like when I asked him a question, he said, well, that's not a mechanical question, that's a question of awareness. And one of my favorite quotes of his, he says, that's a question only experience can answer. What a great answer, right? Like, I can't tell you that. He's really the master. I'm the priest. I'm the leader. Sure, I'm color 3, but if any color 3 doesn't have respect for the color 4, I don't know what's wrong with them. He's the color 4 master. Knows what people need to hear, not what they want to hear. And in any case, I do appreciate his distinction between mechanics and awareness. And the only third part I would add is because I'm base 2. Base 2 is very concerned with role, very concerned with with how we fit into the totality, where are we in the hierarchy, what are we doing, what's our job here, and so on, I would just say the third aspect of human design, the third pillar after mechanics and awareness, what's above the line and beneath the line. You know, the line itself is sort of where mechanics end, and then we get into color and tone, has to do more with awareness. And obviously also the openness is awareness. I get asked, like, if you're saying the openness is awareness, you know, what about the spleen, ajna, and solar plexus? And I say, well, if you're open there, you bring a lot of awareness to awareness. And then we have purpose. And purpose is profile. Purpose is incarnation cross. You cannot separate the discussion of profile and incarnation cross. There aren't 12 profiles. There are 768. I was just saying this in a previous video. So that's what human design brings. And it's teaching you everything you could possibly want to know about this life and how the mechanics of this life work, and hints toward what your purpose in this life are that following the mechanics will bring you to, and hints at where you bring awareness to different processes, what you can become aware of in your openness. And that's its limit, and it's a good limitation. It's the limitation of this life. And what I'm going to be talking about is zooming out to many lifetimes and realizing it's the same personality, sort of the education of the personality so it can better consciously participate in its own evolution, just as humanity is on this progression of ever greater participation in its conscious evolution. So stay tuned. I'll do a series of videos. Next up, we're going to look at human needs in the personality. And we're going to go through various personality theories and talk about their relation to human design. There's a repetition of structure. Something that Michael Steenbeck-Ledvin likes to say is, the Maya is very economical and it reuses structures whenever possible. So people ask me about the Enneagram. I'll do a video on Enneagram. They ask me about the Myers-Briggs system, Carl Jung, all of these different systems. And I just say, you know, it's not that your birth time and your body graph can predict any of these things. It's that the Maya itself has reused the same structures. So we do find correspondences, not to where you could take my birth time and predict my Enneagram, because my Enneagram stays the same life after life, and every time I'm born at a different time, I have a different imprint, I have a different body graph. My Myers-Briggs type stays the same every life. Every life I have a different body graph. That's me. I hear the alarm. I hear the alarm bells sounding. So this is Jonah signing off from the island of Ibiza. Stay tuned for a series on human design and the personality.